life into some content. I'm sitting here thinking about the meaning of it all and if I really wasted my life or not. I got to live a very individual life. And I'm sure everybody says that. Everybody's lived an individual life. But here's the story. I looked on Google today to see what my legacy would be. And I was looking up all my friends' names, all my exes' names, to see what they'd been doing. And I saw that my ex-girlfriend now has a degree. She was in the military. She's certified in a bunch of different things. She has an official page where you can, like a professional profile, where you can contact her for her services that she's certified and provided. From years of college, military, and special education with children with autism. And then you look up my name and you see all the different instances where people slandered my name. People lied to police. Adult men overreacted to my existence walking around trails. And they attacked my reputation and my legacy. Most of my story is abuse I endured. Like, we all know what happened last year in the spring that caused me to be at the park and ride. I walked up, there was a nice, that little alcove right above the park and ride before Vermont State that had that trucking place, that tire delivery place. It had the Vermont Tech Automotive Center right there, and it had a warehouse type that sewed nursing scrubs and masks. And then down into the woods was where my cabin was. So I would come out at night and I would charge my phone. And one weekend, I went out during the day. I talked to the director of the automotive program. He liked me a lot. We talked about God. Then I told you this. I was sitting out there, getting the sunlight. It was really nice, healing my traumas, getting more into alignment with myself. And really fat old guy, like in his 40s, 50s, obese guy shows up and says, "Well, get off private property." And he's just really forward with me. He doesn't give me a chance to speak. He just sees me sitting up there meditating. I have this insanely high vibrational connection, and I can feel his insane amount of depression. And he just gives me the negative, get the fuck off the property. And I said, "Hey bro, you should lose some weight. It'll really help your depression. You're obese. It's a sign of mental illness." But I said it with more trauma because I still had a lot of shit I was working through. You know what I'm saying? And then about a month later, I think, or maybe a couple of weeks, I'm outside McDonald's at night. It's beautiful out. The skies are clear. The mountains are ahead, so you can see the silhouette, but it's almost pitch black. It almost doesn't feel real. Like it feels like we're in a building and the lights were off, instead of being outside like it used to be. And He sees me in the McDonald's drive-thru, standing on the other side of the road. It's just a little parking lot and then a big wide open field in the mountains. And I'm standing off in the darkness, listening to my tarot readings. And he pulls over and puts the headlights, high beams, just right on me. He's sitting with his wife, or his girlfriend. And instead of eating their meal, he drove all the way across the road instead of going home to pull up. Didn't park right. Like the parking lot is like this, and he pulls diagonally just so he can shine the high beam. And he's just staring at me. Because so I'm like, okay, I'll walk away. So I start walking. I'm looking at him like, why the fuck is this guy staring at me? The guy's getting wider-eyed. He spins the car around, pulls up next to me. He's like, were you the guy at Vermont State? I said, why? He's like, I'm going to get you trespassed. I don't remember what I said. I wish I said to his girlfriend, hi, what's her name? I'm Casey, nice to meet you. Because it's obvious he was overreacting because of his mental illness. He was taking his own problems out on me because I was an archetype in his mind. He either thought I was a junkie or he thought I was an attractive young man. I don't know. With that, along with Phil Scott telling security to get me to stop squawking on the property. And just months of people making up rumors that I had no control over while I was walking around the beautiful place, trying to find a way to enjoy myself. Ended in police brutality. Me just deciding to live a better life cascaded into hundreds of inferior, insecure men taking their own issues out on me. So I'm hoping it's lining up like dominoes or a slingshot or something that's going to get them all toppled over. This can't all be because I cheated on the girl I loved a lot, and I was emotionally unavailable. I don't want to believe it. Maybe I'm avoiding it. I'm 25. I wanted to get her back when I was 18, but instead I showed up and stopped. Because I knew that it takes a lot of deep thought, and it's very difficult to be in the position that I want to be in life. And I've gotten to that position many times, and then the next level of that position is unattractive to me, like fame and fortune and legacy. But the cost is demonic. It's demonic. I'm gonna put you next to the heater for a second. Just to put this coat on. Fuck you. Okay. That makes me really mad. That makes me really mad. This keeps falling over. I hate you. Okay. So, on another note, it's pretty obvious it's a simulation. It's pretty obvious it was written. It's pretty obvious I'm not alone even right now. And the behavior of my friends and family seemed to be them perpetuating an illusion that either their consciousness has been overridden or they are actually terrible fucking people. And they're always seeming to be pretty much most of the world seems to be operating from the guise, now that I've achieved this higher state of consciousness and enlightenment, most of the world in my day-to-day are people that are living in deceit, and there's something in them that seems giddy and always in suspense of, am I going to expose what they really are? Like their subconscious has been overridden. And I can tell that there was once a person in the people that I speak to, but lately it just seems like I'm speaking directly to the Antichrist, talking through people. And it's evident by the little stupid things that they reveal in their speech when I talk to them that is only able to be picked up if you hold a higher vibration and a higher connection to the infinite. Then when your awareness is raised, it's pretty obvious. The other stuff is just in deep thought. You can get to a better sense of comfort, and you can start to put together more complex thoughts and emotions, and that allows you to perceive reality at a higher bandwidth and experience more from reality. And when that happens, that's when you can get to like common sense. And that seems difficult for a lot of people because of all the games. People are playing stupid games for stupid prizes. And it's disappointing to be 25 now. I thought that I was going to get my ex back when I was 21 because I was going to be famous. And then I fought every single day, 12 hours a day, for 2 years. And well, pretty much my whole life, but for years. And then every year I got the same opportunities. I got to shine. I got to do legendary things that I'll hopefully be able to remember when I'm old. And be able to tell my kids. And then for the most part, I figured out that I didn't like anybody, and nobody deserved all the effort that I put into them. And everyone had a skewed perception of me that I didn't want to put effort into fixing, and the system was cracking down on me. So I just went back into hermit mode. I come out of the cave and ransack the town like a dragon, burning everything down and outshining everybody, and then realize that I'd rather be out here alone like this. But when you're out here alone like this, there are things that the world is not ready to see yet. And that can be so overwhelming for most people that it would drive them into a mental hospital. I've managed to deal with it, looking around and seeing beings just right there, just like right outside this little window, blipping in and out of existence, constantly around me. Yep. Now there's a dull ache in the back of my head. And there's something right there. Look, you see it move. The wind is moving. Could you be out here alone? Completely alone. I don't have friends or family. I don't have anybody. I have stalkers. I don't have family. I have stalkers. My parents are stalking me. I'm going to take a piss. It's going to be so it's going to be -6, which means it's going to feel like -25 plus or minus. I don't know how I'm going to make it. So, I mean, I've given everybody enough to help them forever. Like, I've given them information that's not going to come out and be publicized until, like, 2026. I gave out in 2022. 2020. So, I mean, I gave people more than enough time for their own lives. I definitely feel like I've done that. I did the brave thing. Back when people were getting killed for sharing, I still shared it. So I'm not worried about that. I hope that I can edit the videos and put it in the best light so that when people want to Google me, like if my ex ever Googled my name, she'd see the unlawful trespass from Vermont State University and the other stuff. But then there'd be good videos of me going through life and not. That's how the devil gets you. They put you through extremely long cons so that it destroys you forever. It's a chess match. They used the cops as a weapon. But if all of that was set up like that, why couldn't it be in my favor too? Why couldn't those setbacks be for major comebacks? There's no real place to put you guys. I was gonna get a tripod. Where's all my friends, man? Where's all my friends, fam? If we get to like 10 people in the chat, I'll set up my second phone and we can do a group call. I want to hear what the fuck my subscribers got going on. Because my life and my perception of it, what I express in my art, is the same as the people in the industry. It's the same as the people that make it. Good morning, Bears. What time is it where you're at? I was talking about how I'm worried that being 25, while my peers have all this stuff in their life and they have achievements you can Google, like degrees and certifications, I have arrests that were caused by prejudice, where I didn't really have control over them, and they sort of slandered me. It's 8 a.m. here. I'm not even sure. I think I slept. I dreamt about something I can't remember. I feel my potential to do great things, but I'm not sure how to get to where I want to go. And I love the journey, but the journey has been, I'm 25. I'm 25, man. Do I look 25? Bye, Bears. It feels fake to be successful. All these lives that come to my head that I could live if I got rich, successful, had a suit. Lived a life where I woke up and I was in constant creation, where I'm driving places with money, doing events and stuff. Or like running a business on the internet. It feels like it's all running away from this. This feels better for me. But I know that I'm only getting older. And everyone else has moved on without me. Is that relatable? How would you conjure $20,000? Okay, some options came to my head. Well, let's pray. Okay. Is it accountability? Stability. Stability? Yeah, stability would get me buff. If I had a place that I could put a pull-up and dip bar. Okay, so scripture just came to the back of my head, probably from a being outside what I can perceive right now, and told me scripture that God will. What's the scripture that the stuff that we do, God will highlight? All the stuff we did alone in the dark, all the suffering that no one saw. God will make our works. What's the scripture that said God will make our works known to the world? I asked the sky, like I just looked up to the heavens and I asked for some type of confirmation or hope that things were going the right way. And then it hit my brain. I got a little stability in my brain and realized that what used to be like a giant, like all the light that I'm usually able to house in my brain has kind of been conditioned because of how overwhelming it can get. And then scripture came into the back of my head that God will make your works known to the world. So okay. This is cool. When people are in the chat, ideas are coming, but I don't want to share them right away. but I have something that can help people. Okay. I was offered a website where I could make a website. It's an idea I've had I made tons and tons of ideas when I was 17 that I always was like teetering on making that I never did because I used to just walk in circles. Have you guys seen that video of the bear that was in captivity for its whole life and then they released it into the wild? And then it used to pace around its cage, and then they let it out in the wild, and for like months the bear didn't do anything but just pace the way it did in the cage. They released a circus bear that was in a cage that would pace like this, and then they released it back into the wild, and for months the bear just did this. I used to pace around my apartment for years, and now I just pace in circles everywhere I go. I used to hide in my little den in my bed, and I would just hide like this. What's my charge at? 37. Let's take this and go for a walk. I can't say it. I had the opportunity to record something that would probably terrify you all for the rest of your life if you're not ready to see it. And I decided not to. And I recorded a video next to the thing because I wanted to be brave. I don't know. I'd like to see myself somewhere warm. I was called to go to Hawaii, and then all these different Sagittarius content creators have wound up in Hawaii. And I didn't go. I spent my money on McDonald's, guys. I had enough donations to get a nice guitar, and I had enough donations to get pretty much everything I wanted. But instead, I chose to buy $5 McDonald's every day. If I had saved that McDonald's and starved myself like I advocate for, I would have been way beyond. But I don't think I would have ever gotten here. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that I'll launch myself too far, and then I'll spend my whole life. Okay. Often I will spend months deranged and fighting to be famous to impress the world. And then I do it, and I get so close, and I go through these long journeys, and the journeys usually end with me being trapped somewhere around a bunch of people that are cackling like demons. Crazy, crazy stuff. And it starts playing Hotel California. And I have this big realization that maybe I was going the wrong way. So then I set my sights on buying land and starting a family. And then I get to the point where I go apply for a job, and then the job feels like hell. And I realize that any land I'm gonna buy, they're just gonna take away with property value. Even if I bought a house in Vermont, they're just gonna raise the property taxes until everyone here has to move anyway, because they want to force us to 15-minute cities. So then that goes off the table. Then I prioritize anything I really try to focus on doesn't seem fulfilling, even though to others it would be glorious, like achieving something. All the stuff that I work towards, that everybody else works towards, becomes kind of null and boring. And that's why I think pretty much every other 33 life path I've ever studied, all they do is travel around homeless. every 33 life path. They just find a job that lets them travel around. That's pretty much all they do, is just enjoy the world. Every single 33 life path. It isn't like a fat, raging narcissist. The 33 life paths I've met that are obese and are very narcissistic, they end up rich because they use their gifts to get rich. And then they're usually old when they do it. So they do spend the first half of their life walking around enjoying life. But then they get so obsessed with glory because they feel they haven't achieved anything that they become it. And then they become part of the collective conscious, where they embody something that the world needs to see. That's pretty much it. A good example that comes to my head right now is GG33, who got rich because he used his ability. Like the same way I can predict events, he predicts events. He made a business out of it, made a lot of money in the lottery and gambling. But he still just has a wife. And even though he's famous on the internet now and pioneering the numerological revolution, he still falls all the time, and he's making content that's very vain, and the heart space isn't coming the way that it should, because he's not living the way the 33 life path is supposed to, which is right like this. This is all Emery Tate did. This is all my 33 life path friends do, is just walk around. But I'm beginning to realize that my sun in the 8th house is the reason that I feel like everything is a fight. Because the Sagittarian curiosity, every time I think about anything, I get overwhelmed by the energy. And I'm always trying to figure out why I feel like I'm being hurt. And that's just normal. It's a foundational part of the experience I must have chose for myself. And it's going to make a lot of sense in the future. Like what seems like a prison is a gift. It also really helps the feeling of being in a den. Like, most people I don't think could curl up in a ball under a blanket outside and be extremely satisfied and have that feel so glorious and amazing without having all this. Pretty much all of my, like a good chunk of my placements are in the 8th house. Find balance somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. That's when I head to towns. I can't go anywhere without having to make a change in the entire community. That's facts. Everywhere, my entire life, everywhere I go, there's something that needs to be changed. And I have to be the one to do it because I'm the only one that can see it. And it seems like everybody else seems to be opposing me in that change. So even if I'm just sitting at home and I thought that I was hiding in my apartment, I was working relationships to make the world a better place. It's like I have no choice almost. Even when I give up and I'm apathetic, I'm forcibly placed back into doing it. Like it's mandatory. I'm taking a walk while it's warm because it's about to be so cold I won't be able to move for a week. So we're gonna check out what's around here. I'm gonna have to walk around eventually. That's cool. feels like a giant dragon in the spirit realm just appeared in front of, way like above me. And I felt like it was like I earned a mount in World of Warcraft. Which is very far from the usual. So I went right last time. So let's go left this time. I said I would get my second phone and I would do a group call, but I didn't bring it. The moon's really far away today. No outlet. I guess we won't go down that way. Not that I know of. Like, I'm always drawn to New Orleans. And then we found that YouTuber Candy that does gang stalking content that has 3,000 subscribers. And she's down in New Orleans, Louisiana area. And she's going through the exact same thing I'm going through here. Where targeting police brutality, prejudice, trying to write a novel, and it's too cold to be outside at night. Even down in Louisiana, it's getting too cold. In different cities, it's going to be hard. The government is taking too much action. They're too far gone. The same prejudice that almost destroyed my life this year runs the state. So I don't know how to fix it. I feel like I'm obligated to defend the people that are out here like me because I have a mind and theirs is trapped in an addiction. I don't know how to do it. I could do like the typical easy stuff is, I mean, how soon do you think I'd blow up if I had somebody recording me and I set up a table and a microphone outside City Hall? And I just highlighted all the people that are going to show up and scream at me about homeless people and have to find solutions, have to find ways to break through that and be like, okay, but not all homeless people are criminals, and that property value's going up. Don't you think it's pretty noble of people to be trying to find a better way to live? It seems like you're so unhappy. Shouldn't we start there? Do you think that all these people you're screaming about on the internet all day, do you think that's the source of your unhappiness? And if they went away, that would solve your property values? No. As soon as they deal with crime, your property taxes are going to go up so high, you're going to be out there with them, and they're going to remember what you did to them. You're digging your own graves, and that's the point. That's the realization your world is going to have, is that you let your prejudice get in the way so much, you avoided the truth. That's Revelations. I don't know if hold up. I didn't get a chance to read that. Yeah, I mean, people feel the pain the things I've been through have molded me into someone that acts completely differently. Like I can stand in a building surrounded by people and I'm not twitching and kicking and shaking and grunting because I'm not possessed and I'm not weakened. So they see me as a challenge because I embody what they feel inferior. So that happens a lot. The way that I stand and I walk around is very Sagittarian. It's grounded in confidence and optimistic, which are two things that the world seems to be struggling with right now. So it makes sense that I have all this trauma. So we're gonna look for, is that Library Street? Or is that, staring at my screen has fucked up my eyes. Okay. So this is nearby. This is a lot closer than I realized. This is the public library. So during the day, I may be able there's a car. Pulling in next door. I'm not sure. I don't think people would be happy if I brought my wagon down here. This is somebody's property. Looking for symbolism in the license plates. Nothing jumps out at me. There's a serendipitous event. There's somebody pulling in at 4 a.m. right next to where I'm walking. So I walked down Library Street and then this car showed up in the opposite direction, which pushed all the energy that way. I'm not gonna look at them. Because when you look at them in the eyes, they're gonna come back out. There's a lot of lights turning on. I guess my old life is over. I did not get the girl. I did not. The glory that I got is completely personal. Nobody knows what I've been through. And the change in my character was sort of nullified by the opposition. Because I thought I was going to go through this journey and I was going to grow to be somebody that would make everybody proud. And I grew to a point where I'm proud. I'm proud of everything I've been through. says, I really wish I was here. There's no mirror in this bathroom. Well, I went from being kind of weak, where people used to make fun of how I erased my work, to beating people that were much larger than me in fights. I went from escapism to being somebody people turn to in crisis. Now I sort of teeter in between massive radical action and isolation. I'm afraid to become anything because I know the world is a stage. So all the events in my life, all the characters I met, it's just part of my TV show. What's December? Prayer for the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. What's my birthday? Pope Saint Damascus I. It's going to be a Thursday this year. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here and walk around. I don't know, I'm proud of myself. Is this a serendipitous event? Look, right when I leave. Whoa, at 3 a.m? Look, there was nobody and now there's people. What the hell? And they both went left. Isn't that weird? What a coinky dink, guys. Let's see, are there any other cars, or is it just when I exited that building? Isn't that weird, guys? Could you do it? Could you be alone out here, knowing that you think it's like cosmic deities that are playing in a playset? There's a big bright light behind me. Okay, another car left to right. In the direction I'm going. I hate pictures. I hate looking at people's faces in pictures staring at me. That's cool. I think they probably live above the restaurant. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. There's a receipt on the ground. Somebody at Maple Fields Pop-Tarts. 2 boxes of Frost S'mores Pop-Tarts was $7. That means if you had a job, you worked half an hour just for some Pop-Tarts. That's true. I'm sure people walk around. There's not much to do out here. The isolation really helps me maintain a high vibration because the world feels like it's all dollhouses and nobody's actually in there. And even if they are, they seem so small and minuscule because their lives are focused on being indoors. And I never go inside. I feel like everywhere I go, I'm upgrading the environment. Everything I look at, there's like this big electric jolt. And then everything feels brighter and bigger when I walk down the street. So the university is a mile this way. I don't know how much I want to walk a mile. I'm just looking for tiny alcoves that may be too cold for people to want to bother going towards. Like in the winter time, they have Christmas lights that they forget to turn off. So there might be like an outlet down here that usually runs a Christmas light. I might be able to sneakily bring my wagon down and then hibernate in for 3 weeks. Just sitting there with enough to keep my phone running and enough fat on my body to keep me warm and to keep me alive. And then I can just stick it out with my heater because nobody wants to go down there. These are some nice houses. So this is probably 500,000. That's probably 400,000. Because it's got all this behind it. So this is like probably 2 million in property value right here, just to live here. If you want to be a homeowner. Yep, 11. This is house number 110, so it's got that secret Masonic 11. Because they want to steal that energy from the town with the fact that the 11 is there, so everybody thinks that that's where the 11 should go in their mind. Okay. I don't know. Is it creepy if I don't tell people my age anymore because I know that I'm stunted from being alone in isolation for so long? Like, socially, I probably have the same amount of social experience as like an 18-year-old kid. Because when I was 19, I stopped pretty much completely. Like, I haven't been to like a social gathering or any form of event, or like being in a classroom, except twice in the past 6 years. So compared to all these kids, I'm probably less functioning. I have a lot more understanding of the universe. Basic college math. Stay sexy and don't get murdered. Serendipitous event. How to be lost. Long time coming. Serendipitous event. The doll's house. It's Tom Frank. And that's What's the Matter with Kansas? It drew my eye because I saw the big KC right there. Bad Luck and Trouble. The Quitter. Dick Francis. Look at that serendipitous event. Random stranger stomps out and spits at me for getting in his car and leaving from the sea. You can't see it, but that's the third. It's got a giant 3 on it. Maybe this is a pizza oven or a kiln. Maybe this is an ice skating rink. Yeah, it looks like people in the town can have fires here and cook pizza whenever they feel like it. So maybe one of these nights I will go buy a frozen pizza and I'll cook it in the kiln. I don't know if I'm allowed to walk on this. This might be a pool or something. I think they would have like a keep out sign. If that was the case, there is an outlet here that I can run the heater. There's tons of outlets here. Look, this is like finding a pot of gold. All these working outlets. Pretty much every car has been left to right. I think every single car so far has been left to right. And they all close the areas that I just moved from. So everywhere that I'm going, there are cars that are blocking paths. They're not opening ways. There's playgrounds here. I just want to see what's over this pagoda. But yeah, everybody's getting old. "25 is young." It's just been a weird life. Like, it takes a lot of mental fortitude, a lot of work, a lot of stuff in your mind to be able to make something that impacts the world. So I stayed in my art for so long. I discovered a better way to live, sort of like Jesus did, and then I went around trying to wake up my friends and family, and just everywhere I went, I was met with biblical opposition, where people responded to me the same way. So I just focused on my art, and I made things that when I sang them and performed them, healed people. The same way I used to make jokes. It seems like a good place to smoke a cigarette and put you somewhere. You don't know, like, it makes my heart feel nice when I see outlets like this. Like, it gives me a feeling of being at home to see open outlets that work. Look at this icicle. That's cool. You're a wizard, Harry. There's no place to put you. Let's turn the light off, not to bother people in their homes. It's a lot of Vermont-style apartment buildings. Like I think it's a quadplex, or it's a 6. It looks like there's 3 stories. There are 3 different entrances on one side, and it looks like there might be at least one entrance on the other side. And it leads up to a 3rd floor. How much a month do you think that is? Probably like $1,600 a month per apartment. So these people have probably 2 full-time jobs in the community. They probably have to commute like an hour to work. And then in the winter, they have to like figure it out and hope that they have enough to make ends meet. They probably can't afford hospital bills. They probably come out here and walk their dog, and very rarely, like maybe on the weekends, they get to go out hunting or go fishing. But for the most part, it's probably just work, and then probably they picked up a part-time job because times have been tough. So these guys might be the ones working at the dollar store, but they're also like a doctor. I don't think they're a doctor, but they might work in like what you consider a wealthier place. Okay. Somebody just looked me in the eyes. I got the feeling that when somebody looks you in the eyes and then suddenly I have to shit really bad. I don't know what the fuck that was. Oh, and then the light turned on. So it's probably my voice is probably reverberating through this field. I thought, doesn't the snow make everything quieter? I don't know. When you realize that everybody's living in their own little isolated bubble and that they all have ancestors and a spirit team. Before I didn't know all that. I just thought that we were living in slavery and there were aliens that were monitoring us because I thought they were guiding us to have sex. So I thought that the closer I was to living like a better life, that was attractive to people subconsciously. So that's why my exes would suddenly reach out to me to have sex every time that I felt like I was close to making my best song. And that was like, even back at 16, I knew that. At 14, I did acid at the Big E, and I looked up at the sky, and a voice in my head told me that that's the infinite. Think of the sun as a hole. And then in the hole, on the other side of the hole, is everything everywhere all at once, the unperceivable infinite. And this is just a condensed version of it to experience itself. And it was like, what do you want to do? So I walked around coincidentally, I stole a black and red ranch outfit. Like a Western hat, a Western shirt, Western boots. And I just walked out of the guy's tent at the Big E. And then I walked up wearing all my Western clothes to the guy that my first love, Megan, my first crush, said that she wished that she could find a version. She wished she could find a guy that was a mix between me and that guy, the like autistic Christian guy with a high IQ. And then me, the 33 life path, isolated child. That was really funny, really smart. So I walked up to that guy and told him, hey, I stole all this. He was like, well, go fucking put it back. I was like, oh, okay, because he was my ride. And he was the only one that wasn't on acid. So I just walked in and I was like, oh, maybe I can break through, because I felt like that guy was closed off from love and he was stuck in darkness. So I walked up to him and was like, hey, I stole this, thinking my authenticity would shine through and he would be like, why? And we could have a nice conversation about everything in any direction we wanted, with no boundaries, no limitations. We could just be anything and say anything. Life could be a dream. And then he went, drop it in here and get the fuck out of my tent. I was like, okay. So here we are at an outhouse that has TP for my bunghole. Okay. This is just as good as having a degree, right, guys? My exes all have kids and degrees and achievements. This is the same, right? Look, I have facial hair now. I don't see a difference. I'm proud of who I am in the mirror, guys. I've come so far. You guys have no idea. What am I doing? Okay. I have to make sure the phone doesn't get me banned accidentally. Okay. I mean, what have I done? Really, all I've done is make a significant impact in the lives of thousands. That's what I would say my achievements were. The things that I've suffered and endured and struggled through that many other people can't do without some type of hard addictive drug to make them escape. I've survived, and I've also made an impact and helped probably, I would say, max 10,000 people. I fought the good fight. What were you guys doing? I was out on the spiritual front lines, meeting people that went on to be famous, meeting people that went on to deal with members of the public in the thousands, like community action programs, or sometimes I lived with people like I think the staff member in the shelter program I lived at when I was 14. I'm pretty sure he's the mayor of Rutland now. And we used to just laugh and talk about jokes, and I was very funny, and everybody would come in to, like, staff at the programs used to go home to their families and talk about me, and they were so impressed about the stories they heard about me that they would show up with their families to meet me. So I would be in a shelter program, and then the current mayor of Rutland back in the day would show up with his wife and kids because his wife had heard so much about me. She wanted to meet me because of how funny I was and the things that came to my head when we talk about philosophy and the stuff that naturally helped, like, things I said solved people's everyday problems in a way that they shared it with others. And that wisdom changed people's perceptions on life. That healed a lot of people. And in the end, all those people had the same names. So that guy's name is Aaron. And then the other staff member that he was best friends with that we would all hang out together was Dan. And then after I got out of that program and I got into the next program, the two people that comforted me the most when I was on my visits, I would watch Game Grumps. And Game Grumps is an Aries named Aaron and a Pisces named Dan. So Aaron and Dan, when I left one program and I got into the next one, another group of people named Aaron and Dan helped me through that. And then Aaron, from a YouTube channel, a guy named Aaron helped me learn things that I was missing out on, like social skills. I watched a YouTuber that taught me social skills named Aaron. And there's so much more woven into that story. So many more different little nuances that when you realize how they fit into the bigger picture, you realize that it was all God's plan. And then maybe, just maybe, none of it was real. And that I might be in an experiment. And I can't tell if you guys are real. And there's no real way to ever tell, because when I get to that realization, in the past, it's been traumatizing. It's been really traumatizing. Okay. Get the fuck off my... Okay. I should have blew my nose into the paper I wiped with. Okay, good. This is also for years people have been telling me to come to Johnson because there's a music festival where people that are in the music industry that are famous, like famous names, come to Vermont to the Johnson Music Festival because it's kind of the only place that they're allowed to run around high and not have to worry about like getting shot and having security. So I've been told for years that this is like a music hub for famous people. You can't see me. You can't see me. It feels really good to look at myself and I've got full facial hair. Like this, like not fully scraggly, like solid. I don't even recognize myself. I've come so far from being 15. It's been a really long journey. It's been nonstop for 10 years. Every single day was packed with lessons that I still remember. Okay. Let's walk towards campus. Your campus is still from campus, if they want to get food that isn't in the campus, they're going to have to go to the dollar store. So a good place to meet people is going to be in that dollar store. I applied, and they haven't gotten back to me. Okay. No serendipitous events. Do we want to walk all the way up to the college today? That's my charge at 22. We'll walk until it's at 15. That way I can walk back and put my phone back on the charger before it runs out. This is weird. This is the plans for the buildings. So the townspeople can walk up and see what they're doing here. Because they're building houses. They're developing. Sometimes for a second, the universe sneaks through and I'm able to feel how I used to feel when I would walk around at night prior to leaving home. all an illusion. My family is a family the more I believe it is. When I stop believing in it, they show their true colors, and they do things that are extremely rude and disrespectful and hurtful that is so specific to me. It's almost like you'd have to know me your whole life at like a level that they don't to be able to betray me so precisely. Like it might be some type of conscious entity living in everyone. Now imagine if I had a motorcycle or a dirt bike, how easy it would be to ride up here. They only cost, if I've got 2 full-time jobs somewhere, it would take 2 weeks. And then 2 more weeks, and I could get a dog. And then 2 more weeks, and I could get a computer. And then 2 more weeks, and I could get all the different plugins that I need. But I'm worried that might be digging me deep into a conscious hole where I lose all my blessings. I don't want to walk a mile up this way just to walk back, fam. I did want to walk up this hill to see what it looks like over here. Let's see. I'm gonna walk back, and if there's a car going left to right, I'll turn around and walk all the way to the college. Oh shit. The Vermont Flannel Company's here. You know, we pioneered flannels. That's like one of our biggest achievements. Is that Ireland had kilts, and then Vermont was the mastermind who decided that we should wear the kilts on our body. We should wear the kilts on our torso. No, I don't want to walk all the way up to the college. Fuck. I want to lay in bed more. I want to pass out. Yeah, there's no time like the present. Yeah. I come to roadblocks where it's like the universe offers me things that can happen, but then there's like a requirement list. Like in order to have this experience, there needs to be certain things with you. Like when people talk about how God is building you up to do great things, the great things come to me. And then it seems like whatever's coming to me looks around and it sees other things that need to be changed before I can do that. Like a tether from the heavens came down and showed me a girl that might be interested in me. And then it looked and saw that I don't have a 6-pack anymore. And that I'm kind of like a pudgy little hobbit now. And then I felt it go, it just like fizzled away. Like, oh, if you had made it this far and you had chosen different things, you would have been able to do this. But that's where you're at. And that really hurts. It hurts to see my ex-girlfriend. Because she keeps popping up on my suggested friends. I purposely put a profile picture that makes me look like I'm out of my mind and a crackhead. Because I'm tired of people. Like, I purposely made my Facebook seem like I was out of my mind. I would say things that were very... You'd have to, like, see through the lines. Because at first glance, it would seem like I'm a ranting crackhead schizo. But then if you, like, really took the time to read what I wrote, that's how you find, and that's what I like the most about this story. I'm not going to say it yet. I'm not going to share that with you. It's so important to me, and none of you guys deserve to know that. You're a bunch of haters. You're a bunch of losers. These are the same arches that are in the temples in Iraq. The same shape. With that little crease at the top. These are not as well done though. Yep, left to right, red car. Still, I don't care. I'm gonna walk back. Vault D65. Vault D11. Another 11 on a bridge. Whoa, are they trying to cement the narrative energy to make it easier for us to hallucinate? Well, they're gonna have to figure out what's gonna happen. Because I can't go anywhere. You think I could pay these guys $20 to let me pull my wagon up on the side? No. They'll get mad about nothing, come out and attack me. There's nowhere. Because if I move down to that other park, there's a very highly likely chance, because there's so many other people. Look, another left to right car. All these cars going left to right, and it's going towards where I'm going. And every time it drives by, I feel all this pain of them rearranging my consciousness. Because I don't have any grounded... I'm stuck full of nanoparticles and seed oils from the McDonald's. My DNA is in disrepair right now. Disarray. Look, they're packed in like sardines here. That's like 4 different of one. Look at all these cars in such a small place. I think it'd be nice to live here, but I bet the walls are thin. See, that guy's got a heat on and his window open. Nobody's kicking him out. Railroad. I'm working on the... Doesn't it feel kind of liminal? One time a 40-year-old schizophrenic woman that looked pretty good offered to give me fellatio in a laundromat. And I didn't take her up on the offer because I thought she was old and it would mess up my energy. Now that I'm 25, I'm like, man, old isn't what I thought it was. 40-year-olds are just 25 plus 15. I used to think that time was so much slower and people have experienced. Are these right? Would we consider this right to left? What the fuck are these guys doing? Why is it everywhere I go? What's all this stuff happening everywhere that I'm going? Because I'm hyper vigilant. I'm paying attention to the cars that are driving behind me. There's no cars driving behind me. I can hear, it's so quiet, I can hear the revving and feel the vibration of cars driving around. It's only where I'm deciding to go. That's why I sort of force myself to believe you guys are real. Because if not, it would be terrifying because what would these other things be then? If there's not conscious souls inside the Matrix with other things around them, then it's just me and those things. And that's when you break through and you realize so much about life and society. But it's geared so well that the people that would have been considered gifted shaman 300 years ago are now schizophrenic losers that need to be beaten, ostracized, and medicated, tortured in jail cells for responding naturally to the unnatural world that's been put over our eyes. And that's all it is. The eye of providence has put a wave of energy over the world that works like an AI that sort of has woven itself into the minds of everybody, into the spirits, so that everybody's connected to that. And then people that are traumatized, most, from what I've seen, it seemed like all the people of color and the animals all live in the undercurrent in between that. All I ever wanted was a black Grand National. Fuck being rational. There's a chair. I don't know. I feel like it might be easier to hide, or more comfortable to hide, if I brought that chair up there. I used to want to live in one of these carports. You see that, like, carport tent? They cost about $100, but I couldn't get anyone to disassemble it and mail it to me. I had to find a way to go like 100 miles to get it from somebody's parking lot. I'm gonna take the small chair. I guess I'm not. I'll suffer and come back tomorrow. If I really want it, I'll come back when my phone is charged. There's no comfortable place to put my legs on that wagon. It's too small. But yeah, they have given us a nanoparticle virus At least I have it. It seems to be destroying my chakras all the time. All the magic that I do in my energy work, it seems like they're able to push a button lately and it just activates all the nanoparticles in my system and I lock up and I freeze and I literally can't move. So I can see how in the future they might be dropping something else that is like an AI, like they wiggled into your mind with the idea of Neuralink. But in reality, it's not a chip that's going to be implanted so much as it's already living in our cellular biology. And if you're not doing the work, you're probably not going to make it. Seems like they torture you into becoming apathetic, and then when your beliefs and hopes get crushed, they eat it, and it's delicious to them. So anything you do, the devil's always trying to get at you. And then if you ever give up, there's like an energetic conversion that they find delicious when they bring you back down to being apathetic in your lowest vibration. So to be considered like the most powerful optimist, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to make me cry now. Three, 6, 9. Yeah. So I look at places like this, and if I think about talking to anybody, so I tried to manifest maybe, hey, maybe this guy might be able to take $20, and he wouldn't mind if I put my wagon in there, ran an extension cord, ran a heater, and then in my mind, it opened up a portal and I jumped into that guy's world, and I got to see all the different stuff that he's got going on. And I saw all the different stuff that I didn't like about who he is, his opinions on things, his belief systems. And I decided I didn't like it. Okay, as long as you guys don't leave, I'll walk through the dark. Because I'm brave. Or I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. And I am brave. I wish I could just conjure up people that I want to be around me for as long as I want them to be around me. And then they could leave when I want to be alone. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I guess it doesn't matter if I don't have the people I miss in my life, because I have who they were at the time, and I've gone on countless adventures with those people in my mind. So I don't really need to continue hanging around with them, and they're allowed to go grow and be in their own lives and their own growth, and that's okay, because I got to have them around in a really perfect way that allowed me to be able to take those versions of them, their characters, on countless journeys. And I have this weird feeling that whenever those people forget who they were, because I hold them so dear to my heart, when whatever takes them and they can't find themselves anymore, they're able to be gifted who they were again. Like through me, they're able to find themselves again. I think about my ex-girlfriend every day, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. And I didn't realize that I did until I was in that motel and I turned on the TV and they're playing 2.5 Men. And it was the episode where Charlie has a bunch of girls over and Alan says, "I wish I was you, Charlie, but you have a problem." And everybody was like, "What the fuck?" A leaf just flew out of a tree right in front of me. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Please leave me alone, fam. Okay, we're gonna keep talking about Charlie Sheen. So Charlie Sheen went to therapy, and Jane Lynch was there from Glee, and she was his therapist. And Jane Lynch said, "Where did this all start? Why don't you ever settle down? How come you get these bimbos off the beach and they go back to your cool house on Malibu?" And he's like, "I'm winning." No, what he really said was, I loved this girl and we broke up because I was a cheater and I wasn't ready for the love that she had to offer, and now she's going to get married. So I sort of escape that feeling that I've lost the best woman for me in women I don't really like. And then at the end of it, he tried to crash her wedding, and her dad showed up and punched him in the face. And then her husband showed up and punched him in the face. And then her friends showed up and punched him in the face. And then he went back home with a bunch of black eyes, got a girl at the bar, didn't take her home this time because he learned. And then he went to bed, and the episode ends with him crying in bed, saying the girl's name over and over again with a bunch of pills and alcohol. And then that was the last TV I watched there, which really feels like my life. Because I'm supposed to be this epic king. When I become the epic king, or when the world finally realizes I'm the epic king, and I decide to step into my power, then all the people will flock to me. Instead of just finding crazy schizos. Thanks, Battle. I'm gonna try. I feel like these monologues will come in handy for some reason. I thought it was my parents that were watching. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you guys losers. I was calling my family a bunch of losers. If I'm ever roasting you guys, I'm usually roasting my family. Is the water on? No. We've returned. I didn't go to the college, but I'm glad I didn't because my feet hurt. My feet hurt. For the people here, if I ever wanted to ask you guys to, like, there are programs where I can ask for help that are, like, big. Like, getting more stuff than just, like, tents. But I figured there's so many people in Vermont that are homeless that are trying to get into those programs. It might be better for them to meet me and then know that I have, like, a community on the internet that supports me. Because they might see me as a success story. I clipped that. I'm gonna finish this cigarette and then go to bed. I dropped the burning cigarette into my hair and it got caught in a dread. Alright, there's a bunch of guys. The best thing I can do to help you guys is to give you right now is to give you a list of supplements to take in the morning that in a few months you'll feel a lot better. And that's literally just omega-3s and multivitamins to start before doing anything else. Omega-3s, multivitamins, and protein shakes. That's the only real way to give yourself brain cells. Because back in the day, we were all fishing and hunting and growing food. So we had plants and animals that took in the minerals from the ground that we would eat, and that's how we got our vitamins. And we would fish to get omega-3s that healed our brain. we would take mushrooms that would heal our brain and evolve us and our connection with nature in the heavens, and we'd be active all day. So when we don't have that, it's a zombie apocalypse. We just deteriorate. We don't have brain cells. We don't have any muscle, and we can't do anything because we're disconnected from nature. So as humans, we need to be taking omega-3s and multivitamins and protein every day. If you're not hunting, gathering, fishing, and living outside, you have to. So for anybody, it's almost impossible for you to heal without it, because you're not biologically capable of running the equations necessary to get back in and update your software. So I'm gonna believe it's all divine timing. And that I'm on a path somewhere. I'm seeing Trump going like this. Why'd that come to me? One time I was left alone at Peter's house, and Peter was a friend of my father's who committed suicide, and we were staying at his house because my dad got everything he left everything to my dad. And I was alone. We were on a mountain, and I felt like there were these spiritual wolves that were out in the forest watching me, trying to get in. And I felt like me and a bunch of my spirit team had to fight off these wolves. And then a bunch of people came for my dad and came for all of our stuff. People are going to think these are joints if I leave them out. I could stay awake and go walk around. Or, what time is it? 4 or 5? It's 4:44. How about, can I get a shooting star if I should not lay here for a week? Or a bird call? Or a car going... I mean, there was a car going right to left. It was going left to right, then it turned straight towards me. So it looked right to left, but now it's facing me all the way over across this river. So I guess it's an either-or situation. But you can see the lights of the gas station I want to work at directly in front of me. Why not? Why not go in and say, hey, it's going to be -4 degrees. Do you mind if I work here for a week until it warms up and then I'll head on? Or do you think that, I guess it doesn't hurt to try. I feel like I'm going to throw up. They're showing me the sickness that everybody has right now. Okay. I don't know what the fuck that noise is. It's very quiet. I got scared. I got scared and dove in here. I have to organize this all and move it tomorrow. More like in an hour. Then I'll sleep all day. I didn't give this enough time to cool down. All right. Good night.